Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and on today's episode we are serving up the first episode of Even Stevens. While not the first episode to broadcast on television, this episode is the first episode of the series, at least the first one intended. The episode opens up with Lewis and Twitty in gym class listening to Coach Tugnut announce that there is an open spot on the track team and he wants someone to step up. While Tugnut is talking, Lewis is off in his own comedic world cracking jokes with Twitty. Tugnut, of course, overhears them, but before we even process the lecture, our attention goes to this ridiculously hilarious mural painting on the gym wall, which of course turns out to be Donnie, which is Lewis's older brother, so we already know that his older brother is a god among the school, and Lewis is just Lewis. I really love how TV shows always do, especially kids shows, these ridiculous over-the-top promotions of their student athlete. It reminds me of that scene from High School Musical when Gabriella is singing When There Was Me and You, and she's like right in front of a banner showing Troy Bolton. I have to know, I was a homeschooled kid. Did any school actually do this? I have to know. If your school did this, please comment. And if you have pictures or something, please, I would love to see those. From here, we cut to Ren's introduction. She's the teacher's favorite. Dependable, respectable, capable of anything. She can do anything. It's such a great bit of early character work. In just 2 scenes, we've already established that Lewis is the lovable slacker and Ren is the perfect overachiever. Back out on the school field, the gym class is timing their runs. Larry is holding the stopwatch, clearly loving his position of power. He mocks each runner as they pass, being especially smug. When Lewis runs, Larry tries to roast him, but Lewis fires back with the deepest self-roast.
Why don't I just use an hourglass?
That's the thing about Lewis. Even though he's the underachiever in the family, he has this unbeatable ability to roll with the punches. Somehow, Larry manages to convince everyone that Lewis is actually a fast runner. Next thing we know, Lewis is asked to join the track team for their upcoming meet. Back at home, his family is genuinely excited. His dad's a lawyer, his mom works for the mayor, Donnie is a superstar athlete, Ren is an honor student, and Lewis, he just wants to be recognized for something. Anything. Yep, he's basically us, the audience. Or maybe it was just me. With Larry's help, Lewis starts training and hanging with Jock Crowd. We get a quick glimpse of the character of Tawny, who many viewers already know, ends up becoming a much bigger part in the series. There's this one moment in this episode that really got a chuck out of me. It's the moment where one of the characters was about to, smash a milk carton on Lewis's head. But because everyone believes that now Lewis is this track superstar and is going to help the school have better track numbers, this jock ends up smashing the milk carton on his own forehead. And I don't know why, it got a laugh out of me. It was pretty funny, I have to say. So while Donnie is training Lewis, he makes sure to tell him that he has to apply hair mousse and lots of it. He gives him a very specific, kind of like a chant to say while he's doing this. So while Lewis starts training with Larry, since Ren is going to be covering the school paper, something that was mentioned earlier in the episode, she starts to notice that Larry is not only losing to Lewis, but he's letting Lewis win. She's able to piece together that Larry's been setting up Lewis so he can beat him at the meet and humiliate the Stevens family over his long-standing rivalry with Donnie and Ren. However, this doesn't go over too well when she tries to warn Lewis, only to have him sort of get defensive and tell her that he feels that he is the only one in the family that doesn't really have a special thing.
What is the matter? You think you and Donnie can have all the attention all the time? No. Yes, you do. And Larry Beale is your enemy, not mine.
This is where we have this really sweet moment where she tells him that he does have his thing. He's funny. And I think that's one of those things that the show really did right. You know, we have a lot of shows that came after this with a lot of really memorable, strong family dynamics, whether it was Miley and her dad, or whether it was London and Mr. Tipton, or whether it was Alex and Justin. But what I really like about this particular show is that the dynamics between the brother and sister, Lewis and Ren, was always so well written and handled that as a viewer, you just loved both characters, regardless of which one you identified with. On race day, as everyone is getting ready to witness Lewis's big moment, we have this hilarious scene where all of the characters are lining up, and one of the characters that we're introduced to, Trevor Dunn, who's just a one-time character, he is chanting to himself the same thing that Donnie was telling Lewis earlier in the episode, and I just love that.
Moose in the morning, conditioner at night. Moose in the morning,
He's basically the Donnie of another school. And it kind of reminded me of that Recess episode where the kids meet their doppelgangers from a different school. So the race begins, and as the characters are running down, we see a quick moment where Larry somehow accidentally collides with Trevor, causing Trevor and Larry to fall down in the middle of the race. As this happens, there is a clear opening for Lewis to continue running and actually win the race. However, Lewis decides to instead go back and help the two that fell down. In true Larry fashion, however, he ends up using this to pull Lewis down and allow himself to win. Now, instead of following, Lewis decides to stay there and sort of keep Trevor laughing with humor while help arrives, showing off that that's his true power, his true gift. He's the funny one. What's really sweet about this moment is that as this is happening, even though Larry just won the race, nobody cares, and everyone is cheering on Lewis for true sportsmanship. Everyone starts chanting his name, and we see that Larry is just not having it. So then finally, the episode concludes where Larry confronts Ren about the school paper covering Lewis's act of sportsmanship instead of Larry's victory. Which of course, she tells him that her option was to either post that article or the article exposing Larry for what he did and potentially get him kicked off the team. It ends on a great note where Larry kind of knows that, yeah, you might not want to mess with the Stevens family because they're a strong unit regardless of how different the characters are from each other. And that is the first episode of the show Even Stevens. Alright guys, so as far as the ranking for this particular episode goes, I would have to say that it's not an episode that people remember that well in comparison to other major hit episodes like the musical episode or the Halloween episode. With that said, however, it is noted that this was kind of the beginning of the 2000s decade of Disney Channel classics. So for that, I rank this episode a fun watch, as it is definitely an episode that I love to go back and watch because I know of what came afterwards. So on top of this episode being a fun watch, I also want to put it in the Hall of Fame because this is notably the beginning of the golden era of the classic Disney Channel. And it's specifically the first half of the golden era. It all started here, folks. As always, thank you for watching my content. Please hit the like and subscribe as it really helps this channel grow. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms, including my Patreon, which really does help me provide the proper equipment that I need to keep this channel active. Until next time, this has been Sir Serato, and thank you for watching.